I'm the Scrappy Wife behind scrappywife.com, and today I have a process video for you using the new kit from By the Well for God, Abba Father. I have an unboxing of this kit and I will link it below. With this new kit, the focus is on prayer and different examples of prayer through the Bible and what we can learn from them. So my take on this kit is I am going to create a prayer journal specifically for this kit, and I'm going to use this traveler's notebook that is available in the By the Well for God Etsy shop. The cover coordinates with the kit really nicely, and I'm going to use this to create a prayer journal. And so today I thought I would walk you through how I plan to do that. I have printed out, I've gone through the devotional to look at the scripture that was referenced, and I've printed out each of the prayers that are referenced, and I'm going to use those in here. I'm going to use several different colors of Distress Oxide inks to add some color to the background of pages, and I plan to use an array of stamps to try to connect the pages as well. So I'm going to set it all up in advance so that when I start the study later this week, it'll be set up and I can focus just on the prayer part of it. So I'm going to put you on fast forward and we'll get started. Okay, let's get started. To make this process a little bit quicker and a little bit less complicated, I'm going to use the same formula for every page. So even starting here with this title page, I'm going to start with Distress Oxide ink. I'm using a blush brush, a technique I learned from Lindsay Decor, who has tons of great ideas. And so I'm using this blush brush and spreading some color across the back of the page, not really worrying about if I get full coverage. It's just to give it a splash of color back there as I work through the page. After that, I'm going to come back in with another color. This is, I believe this is Tattered Rose, just to give a little depth and dimension. Every page in this book is going to start with this Distress Oxide technique. At this point, I decided I'm going to use some die cuts. So you see me kind of fussing around, playing with the die cuts, figuring out where I want them. The title of the devotional, Abba Father, down there on the lower right. I love the telephone booths. I think they're so adorable. So I fuss and fuss with the die cuts, and at some point you just have to go with it and stick them down. So you'll see me grab my Tombow clear adhesive tape runner, adding those to the back and sticking these die cuts down. After all the die cuts are stuck down, I decide I do want to label my title page as Prayer Journal. So I'm grabbing the new sassy uppers and sassy lowers from By the Well for God. I love the size of these. They're about 3/4 of an inch. They go together, the upper and lower cases. And I'm going to use my VersaFine black onyx ink to add these on. I am new with this VersaFine. I'm new at stamping, and you'll see immediately I have a pretty big oops. There's a big old black mark on my page because I got my pinky in the ink as I was pressing down. So not sure what I'm going to do at this point. I decided, well, let me just finish doing the prayer part and maybe something will come to me. Okay, I decided the best way to cover up that mark is to actually cover it up. So I am going to grab a piece of black cardstock and I'm going to add the journal title with some white alphas that I got from By the Well for God in their black and white collection. After all the alphas are on there, I'm using kind of these old school scrapbooking scissors that give a worn edge to the cut line, and I'm going to cut out that word journal, make it into a banner, and stick it right under. And my mistake is covered up, and I think it really highlights the journal word. I do want to note what month this devotional is in. So again, I grabbed for those small alpha tiles and select May 2019, using those light pink ones up in the corner to bring some of the pink from the lower right to the upper right. The last thing you're going to see me do is write the verse reference, Psalm 1:1. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. And By the Well for God includes this in all of their devotionals, so I wanted to put it there. All right, as we continue, you'll see me using my adhesive. I printed out all of the verse references, like I said before, so I'm going to adhere this one down from Hebrews 4:16. And again, I start off with that distressed ink. I'll fast forward here in a second, and you'll see it's all done. There it is. I distressed ink, use that yellow that I see in the kit at places, and I'm going to use this mini stencil and my weathered wood, hard for me to say, distressed ink here on the bottom, and I'm going to add a road, and I end up doing this on every page. I think it gives a nice anchor to the page and a cohesive look when all of the pages have some of the same elements. I decide the white that is peeking out from that road is just a little too harsh for me, so I take this tattered rose color and add a little bit of pink there. And now I'm going to choose the stamps that I'm going to use. I love these clear stamps because you can move them around and play with them on the page while you are deciding what's going to go where. So I knew the first page had to have that telephone booth. I also find this postal piece, and I love these envelopes. So I'm going to work on layering these stamps, moving them around the page. Now you guys, I promise that I'm taking all of your tips. I bought new ink and I'm working on a flatter surface, and again I had trouble with my stamping, and I know that it's just me working in this book, so I'm going to continue to practice, and you'll see there's a lot of stamping that goes on in this book, and I got better as I went, although things did get a little bit messy. All right, after I stamped that post office box, I also stamped it on an additional scrap piece of paper and created a mask. So I cut it out, placed it there, and then I'm going to use it to mask it off so I can have the envelopes appearing like they're flying out of the mailbox right there. And then this is what I'm talking about. I want the pages to connect with the stamps. So I like when it comes off of the right side and then begins the left side of the next page. There's a connection point between the pages that I think creates a pretty cool cohesive look. Then I'm going to grab my ruler. I'm going to grab a stand or draw a stand for my post office box right there. And then my stamping will be done. The next thing you'll see me do is grab for these clear alphas, and I'm going to add the title Drawing Near. Okay, my last step for this page is to grab some colored pencils. I'm going to fill in my stamped images. It has been a hot second since I have used colored pencils, and I really enjoyed spending time coloring these images in the images you'll see in the rest of the journal. So relaxing to do and so satisfying. Okay, so that is my plan for the prayer journal. On the left side of each page, I'm going to put the scripture and leave hopefully some room for some notes on the devotional, and the right side of the page will be left open for a prayer of my own. Probably won't take up this much room with stamping on each end, but I thought for the first page, since it was a smaller scripture. And then the plan is to have the stamping overlap so that the pages connect, because the devotional is about communication, prayer with God, and so I want the pages to connect to one another. I'm gonna keep working. I'm not gonna make y'all watch me do the whole book, but I will come back and do a flip through at the end. Okay, I worked on my prayer journal and I have the flip through for you of all the decor. This is meant to be a prayer journal, so I tried not to make the inside too complicated. I kind of wanted to just make sure it was colorful so that I would enjoy looking at it, but also give me lots of space to write. So you saw my intro page right here, keeping it really simple, the date, May 2019, and some die cuts from the kit. Each page followed the same format with distress ink in the background. I chose to put a road on every page and then use various stamps from the kit and from the coordinating stamp sets that you can get from By the Well for God. And then every page on the left side has a title and the verses that are referenced. So this is the introduction page, drawing near. Here's day 1, the Lord's Prayer. Day 2, supplication. And you can see I tried to take a stamp from one side and finish it on the other so that they connected. This is day 3, intercession, Genesis 18. Day 4, listen and look, Genesis 16. Lots of room for writing prayer. What is this, day 5? Let me double check that. Day 5, yes. Nope, maybe I skipped one here. Genesis 16 is day 5. So this is day 6, unanswered prayers. I loved the paper airplane stamps, so cute. And then this is just stamping in the background. Day 7, confession and supplication, but I chose to focus on the adoration and praise, one of the prompt questions. Day 8 is praise and supplication, and the prompt asks you to consider what the end goal of your requests are. This is day 9, focusing on Jonah and confession. This would be day 10, praise and supplication is the title of that day. Right here we have day 11, focusing on Paul's prayers, intercession. Now a bunch of them were listed, so I did not put all of those verses, the actual text. So on this day I will be going straight to my Bible and then making notes in here. Come to day 12, confession. Day 13, intercession, and talking about Jesus, the high priestly prayer. And then day 14, my anchor holds, back in Hebrews. That was an introduction plus 14 days. I ended up with one extra day that I've left open at the end to kind of do a prayer in summary or a prayer about things that I've learned from the devotional. So, like I said, it's not perfect. It's not overly complicated. The same formula for every page with a color, the road, and some stamping. I put the verse in. But for me, it feels really cool to already have a book that's ready to go, just ready to jump in. I don't have to think about the art that much. I can keep adding things to it as I go. I can add some washi tape, more stamping if I want, and then I can take entries into my Bible. But this gives me a place to really focus and dive in on the prayer. I hope you are inspired. Let me know if you are considering using your traveler's notebook for journaling and if you might be doing a prayer journal. I'd love to know in the comments below. If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And until next time, keep it creative. Thanks, guys.